sometimes I get people on the left, sometimes I have people on the right, and they tell me, I want this and I want that, and I want you to do X and I want you to do Y and I want you to do Z. And I say, all right, I agree with some of that and I don't agree with other things, but none of it can be done under our current system. So it doesn't matter that you want all these things because we're not able to affect that. We can't do it in the current system because the system is broken. So work with me to fix the system, and then let's have a real debate about these things. And maybe I'll disagree with you, but I want to fight for your power, your right to present your issue. I want you to be able to present that issue in the Congress so that we can have a real debate on it. And then I might actually disagree with you on that issue. And I might debate you and say, no, I don't think you're right about that. But you should have the right to present it in the Congress. All, Americans should have a representative system of government that largely reflects the will of the people. And I think that is the most important fight. All the other things, it doesn't matter how much I want libertarianism. I tell libertarians this all the time. It doesn't matter how much I want libertarianism if I can't affect it through the process. In other words, if the process is broken. So when people tell me, Justin, just forget about the process. When you have a chance to take it, you just take it. Take the thing. We can get this win on this issue, and let's just take it. Just whisper in Donald Trump's ear and have him give it to you. But what good is any of that? What good is a system where I have to whisper in the president's ear and hope he likes me in order to get my way? That's what happens in dictatorships and terrible regimes across the world, where it matters who you know in government. It matters whether you're friends with the government. It matters what your last name is, or what affiliations you had as a child. All those things matter. What your religion is, even in many countries. Those things matter in other countries, and we don't want a system like that in America. At least I don't want a system like that. I think most Americans don't want a system like that. So I think you are right that the first thing we have to fight for is an open system that works for people, that is open. It doesn't mean you'll get all your things, but it's an open system where we can debate things. And then we'll work out whether progressives win on this policy, or libertarians win on that policy, or conservatives win on this other policy.
Well, I got to tell you, you sound like a real adult to me, and which is rare. I don't mean that to sound the slightest bit pejorative. It's so rare to hear somebody articulate something that clearly. And if I can extend it just a little bit, I find that in every camp, there are people who dream of the day that their camp just simply wins, right? There are people who think the solution is for the Democrats to go away, and once the Republicans win, things will be glorious. And there are certainly Democrats who feel the same way, and I run into libertarians who believe the same. And the thing that's so hard to convey is actually, you know what? I know that the magic depends on the tension between different values. And the last thing I want to see is a country in which liberals do not have a force that holds them to account, because they will go about solution making, thinking they're making the place better, and they will turn it into an absolute mess. I also don't want to see conservatives, scoff at the idea of progress and prevent us from doing things that we really need to do and are overdue. And I don't want to see libertarians shrink government down to the point that it's ineffectual. Right? What I want to see is these positions battle honestly, so that as we go too far in one direction, there's somebody there who knows what we're supposed to do next. And I think it's been so long. I mean, how old are you?
I'm 40.
You're 40. All right. I'm 51. I barely remember functional governance. And it wasn't highly functional. It was already very dysfunctional. But at least there was a sense that the purpose of having governance was for the well-being of the nation. And now, we have theater, which is for the voters. And then we have behind the scenes conversation, which is where power is really doled out and traded. And, most of us have no insight into that process because we're outsiders, too busy watching the theater and invested in all of this nonsense. And The irony is you can tell this is true by the number of people who've been driven out of the process, the number of people who have a vote in the most powerful country on earth. They actually have a say, and they don't exercise it because they correctly understand that their vote doesn't matter in the end because of this other process, right? So uniting those people, they would be an incredibly powerful political force if they had something to vote for, which is why the duopoly has to prevent it from existing, right? If it can prevent it from showing up where you can vote for it, it doesn't have to fend it off on the merits.